All right, YouTube, it's been a while. I'm back. Um, yeah, I'm over here in just outside of Flint, Michigan. The urban blight around here is pretty impressive. It's a testament to central planning, I think. But there is quite a developed highway system. Yeah, it's in tremendous disrepair, but quite a developed highway system out here, and not a lot of people moving around. I'll tell you, parking has not been a challenge in Michigan. Maybe there's other areas of it that can be more challenging, but gee whiz, I mean, I pulled into this rest area where I'm at, which is gorgeous, by the way, other than the guys begging for money. Yeah, I pulled into this rest area, and it probably has 60, 80 spaces, and there's less than 10 people here on the truck side. One of them's a four-wheeler. So, yeah. And I was kind of motoring down the road wondering if I should quit earlier and just get up a little earlier to hit my dock in Caro tomorrow. But I'm looking at the rest areas, I'm looking at the truck stops. It's like, wow, there's nothing going on in this area. Big Rig CEO has been a great mentor to me, good coach, gives awesome advice. Check out his channel if you haven't already. He's like, stay in those head haul states. And, he listed off a number of them. Missouri, Michigan, Arkansas, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, to name a few. And, I've been doing that, and it serves me really well. The rates are better. They're not great, but they're a little better. And if you could stay in there, there's just no problem with consistency of freight. And, on my first couple weeks working the spot market, Deadhead was really cutting into my bottom line, my price per mile for all miles. I was getting good rates, but my all mile rates were getting eaten up with Deadhead. So that has really solved that issue, getting into the Midwest, staying here as long as I can, and then I go home for a while. However, parking, is a real challenge, and then you got to be okay with city driving. You got to be okay with traffic, which I'm okay with it. I think it's stressful on any of us, but yeah. But really can just get that consistency of freight. Well, I didn't have any problem. I took this load. I got a good rate going into Idaho. I got a bad rate coming out, but the all mile rate was $1.67, and then even with a reset in that 8-day period to go to I can't remember where I started from, somewhere in the Midwest. So from there to Idaho and then back to Michigan, worked out to be $570 a day for 8 days, and I got a reset in there too. So that's not bad. It's not bad for me. Or $1.67 a mile for all miles, because I'm counting the deadhead I had to do to go get the pickup after I made the drop off in Boise. Both loads were real heavy. Showing some funny wear on my, and I'm going back to this run, so I'm almost at my drop, and I didn't keep hard numbers, but I never turned the truck off at, I think I turned the truck off at the worst fuel mileage day at 6.4, and the best, but for the most part, all the other days were above 7. So today's like 7.7. But I'm pretty confident I'll average well above 7 miles per gallon for all the gallons of this trip. So when I calculate my cost, I'll do it at 7 miles, and then probably still, that's probably a conservative estimate still. So yeah, at 7 miles per gallon, the 567 or 570 a day over the course of those 8 days running these two loads was after fuel. So I got a $1.67 a mile for all miles, or $570 a day. In that was a reset, so that's not bad. I'm not gonna retire on that kind of money, but I could make it work. And if freight rates are truly stable, which I think they are, not to say that they couldn't get worse, but I don't think they could stay much worse than this for very long without shaking out a lot of capacity. And that is my thing. I am an armchair economist. Back in the crash of '08, I really dug deep into economics and have just found a real passion there since then. Because I was either, my understanding was that nobody could have forecasted that, but I just had to scratch the surface before I realized that there was plenty of people forecasting the housing crash and setting off a domestic market correction that we most definitely saw. And there was plenty of people screaming it, and they were getting a lot of media attention when things looked like they would never end back in '06 or '05, '06, '07. But once the correction actually took place, then you never see any of those names in the media anymore on Fox News or CNBC, because I think they were being brought on to be made fun of. One of my favorites is Dr. Doom, or Peter Schiff. He's highly articulate, he has great economic theory. I've learned a lot from him. He just really understands the fundamentals of an economy. Anyway, you just don't see him on TV anymore. Because I think a lot of people felt kind of silly for making fun of him after he kind of outlined exactly the course of events. And when they came to fruition, who wants to admit they were wrong? Anyway, I don't think freight rates can get too much worse for too long before capacity starts getting shaken out. But I do think that, one of the real threats to us owner-operators and small business guys is this insurance mandate. I think absolutely there's definitely big business incentives to move along a higher insurance requirement, with that being one of the major expenses that we have to face. And larger companies don't have nearly as much exposure to insurance costs. I gotta believe that is fascism in its finest, where big business and government are getting together and trying to create barriers to entry that will reduce their competition. Because us small guys, particularly if we're business minded and savvy, we're all about customer service, and we have an individual investment in relationship with brokers where and shippers and receivers where the big guys, they just don't. And they're just trying to take any driver they can off the street, and consistency is a real issue. But it seems to me that, with a lot of these professional small guys out here that I run into and that I watch on YouTube, they communicate real well with the brokers. They communicate real well and professionally with the shippers and the receivers. And I got to believe that, as somebody who worked for a company that had a lot of freight coming in,
say a command.
When a lot of the spot market guys were covering capacity, they were just more professional. They were on time. They were, you let them stay on the yard. They were really thankful. Where CR England was running the majority of our stuff, and we had a lot of the same driver, and we liked that guy. But we also had a small company, Americo, that was running a lot of our intercompany freight, and that guy he's just top shelf. And anyway, I got to believe that they like it when we show up as independent company owners who take pride in what we do and know that our relationship is everything, and we're not just working for a paycheck for the big guy. Here, let me get that help at all. A little bit better camera angle. I have not been exercising. I'm feeling fat and lazy, and I got to do it. I got to get back out there. I'm in this beautiful rest area. I could totally find somewhere to do some pull-ups and some push-ups. And hopefully I find the motivation. But I am in Flint, Michigan, so you don't want to get killed while you're out here. One of the other things that happened to me today is my ABS light for my trailer came on. I had a tire leak on my trailer fixed the other day, and I saw some uneven wear on my rear axle of my trailer. And I don't think it's alignment. It might be, but I don't think so. I really think I'm just been moving I tend to move my rear axles forward with as much as I can get away with on these heavy loads, and get it as close to, you know, the 34K that I'm allowed, and that way I just fuel up when I want to fuel up and not have to worry about it. But I think that's what's causing my tire wear issues. I think because it's on that rear axle, and it's on the inside tire, on the inside of each inside tire on that rear axle. So I think it's just carrying too much weight, and the camber is bowing it out and causing those inside tires on the inside to wear. But I might be wrong. When I get it home, I'm going to have my mechanic look at it and see what he thinks. But I did get my ABS light come on today, so I went out and I checked the hub temperatures, and one of the hubs, the hub that I had that tire worked on, is clearly warmer than the other ones. So I think I got a hub needing to be rebuilt on that. And so yeah, I'm kind of in a bind here because I got a load booked to go back home, and we're doing a vacation at home, so I want to get home. And it's a good paying load. It's not too hard to find a good paying load going into Denver, but I don't want to give it up. I do have an extra day of slop in there, so I could pick up this load and then go get that hub looked at, and as long as I can get it done in one day's time, I can make up the rest of the driving time that I need and still be on time. I was kind of hoping to be able to take the full 4 days. So it's a Friday of driving, Saturday of driving, Sunday of driving, and then it delivers on Monday. And it's only like 1,400 miles, so I can easily do that in 4 days or 3 hard days of driving. If I want to get premier fuel economy, which I've been doing pretty good on. So I'm thinking I'm going to try and hit a TA and get that hub looked at, see if I can't get my ABS light to come back off. So I don't know what it is that's causing the trailer ABS light to come on, but I got to believe it's that warm hub that's doing it. Anyway, that's kind of my plan. Pick up this load tomorrow after I drop, and then I'll go pick up 30-40 miles away, pick it up, and then hit the TA and see if they can't figure out what the ABS light is and get me on the road by the end of that day. That would be super duper. We'll just have to see. I did market my ABS system in my post trip today, and all those little, I never kept a logbook before I started this job, started this company. So it's still a steep learning curve, but driving down the road with my ABS trailer light on, I don't like it. It did just happen today though, and I did just log it today. So anyway, hopefully get that corrected tomorrow. Hopefully it's not too crazy expensive. Having a hub rebuilt, in my experience as a fleet manager, can be pricey. And I just wonder, maybe I should just have them all done. If they're going to tear into one, or do that side or something, or do that axle. I don't know. We'll see what the guys at TA say. I'm open to any suggestions. You guys with a lot more over-the-road experience, if you want to put some comments in there, I'd appreciate it. I bought a fridge, a real fridge, like a cooler fridge. I was looking at the actual fridges that fit in the hole in my Kenworth T680, but dude, they're like $700. I got a real 12 volt or 120 volt fridge. Either way, it goes either way. It's $350 or something on Amazon, which is substantially more than this cooler that I've been using, this electric cooler. But the cooler just doesn't cut it, I lose food because of the temperature. If the temperature inside the truck isn't just right, then it doesn't hold much below probably 50 degrees. which will buy you some shelf life, but not a lot. So I've lost a lot of food. And then, you know, that's a real expense. And then I also I broke the handle on it, and I don't know, I think it's going to be nice to have a real fridge. I was kind of thinking too, I'll save this thing so for the winter when it's real cold most places, I'll freeze my stuff and then throw it in the cooler and strap it on the catwalk. What do you think? I think that might work, particularly when it gets cold, you know, so I can store it outside the truck, kind of have an external freezer, you know. And if you know, theft has been an issue out here. I had fuel stolen from me at least once, where somebody took well over 100 gallons, at least 100 gallons of fuel from me in a truck stop while I was sleeping in the truck. You know, but if they steal the frozen food out of my cooler, well, shit, they need it worse than I do. It's not like they're getting $300 in fuel from me. Yeah, anyway, that's my 2 cents for today. It's 16 minutes. It's quite a long video. Hopefully I'll have the patience and focus to remind you what's going on tomorrow. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you later.